Hi there, it's Hélène with another video. Thank you for joining me. Today is the outcome of my 13 days with Makeup Forever products. So what I'd like to do today is just walk through all of the products I used over the last 13 days and tell you a little bit about each one. Now you will see some similar colors as to what is on my eye today, but what is on my eye is a very different video called Makeup That Scares Me. So if you want to see that video, I will put it up in the cards and you can go and take a look at that particular video. Anyway, let's get back to Makeup Forever. It did not scare me. So let's go through these products and see what I used, what I thought of it, and also the frequency of how I used each one. I think that measuring frequency of use of a product is a great way to just not kid ourselves about what our preferences truly are. And I found that tracking my preferences over time makes me a better consumer because I do buy products that I am more likely to use and enjoy, just because I'm getting real about the stuff that I do and don't use. Now, of course, we may all have some crazy colors that we have in our collection that they're crazy to us anyway, as in we only use them on the very, very rare occasion. And it's fine to have some of those. But the stuff that you want to use on a regular basis, it's better if it's in a color family or product type that you know that you'll enjoy. Right? You're spending your money, you want to make sure that you end up using it. So given we are starting with products based on how we apply them, I will start off with primer. And I had two of them. I had two deluxe samples, and one of them was the smoothing primer. I just checked my lens because for some reason this is not focusing. There we go, now it is. So the first one is the Makeup Forever smoothing primer, and that one made me think of the Professional, or there's another one that I'm thinking of, the Smashbox smoothing primer or pore minimizing primer. And so it's a very flesh toned for some folks, primer that it's very comfortable. It's got a very beautiful feel on the skin. And then this other one is a mattifying primer, and that one is feels more silicone based. It's more of a white primer. I'll show you this one as well. So this is what it looks like, and it just does exactly what it says. It's going to just smooth the skin. So the mattifying one is right here, and the smoothing, which you can see has actually smoothed my hand somewhat, is right here. So I liked both of them. I don't feel the need to use a primer all that much, so both of them were fine for me, but obviously you're going to be different depending on your needs. And I do have kind of an oily T-zone. The rest of my skin is very dry. I did find the mattifying primer did a good job. I find that they all do. I'd recommend them. I don't have a problem with them, but I also am not someone who 100% needs a primer. So use my suggestion for what it's worth. Now, I ended up using the smoothing primer 6 times and the mattifying primer 4 times. And I think I had a bias for the smoothing primer because those types of flesh-toned primers I've used more often and enjoyed more than the silicone kind, but to me they were both very, very good. Next up, I have a couple of foundations. Now, this was the first ever high-end foundation I purchased, and this was only not even 2 years ago, so I'm trying to use it up now. And then I also got a sample of the 335. So this is the 215, Y215, this is the Y335. And I ended up quite often mixing them because of the fact that this one is a little bit too light for me in the summertime. I think Makeup Forever, the Makeup Forever HD foundation is great. I have no complaints. I think it's a very good foundation, but I am not a foundation expert by any means. I tend to like BB creams, CC creams. I like powder foundations. I don't have very high needs for foundation. I do use concealer, but foundation is not as big on my list of priorities. So I'm just going to say that because I like this foundation, but I'm not the best source as suggestions for foundations. I used the Y215, the big bottle, 4 times, and I actually went quite hog wild on this. I used the Y335 7 times. Now the whole project was 13 days, so I obviously did not wear foundation the whole time. Sometimes I just went with a translucent powder and some concealer or something. But I definitely like the foundations. I have no problem with them. Now, we are going into other parts of the face. I'm going to talk about a couple of products, and I'll show you the products in the deluxe samples they came in. So the first one is an HD powder, and this is one I haven't touched yet, but just wanted to show you how I received them. And then one of the blushes that I haven't touched yet, but it's the same kind as one of the blushes I'm going to show you. So that's just how they come. And if you get a chance to get one of these deluxe samples, whether it's the powder or the blush, they last for months. So they are, if you get a 100-point perk and you want to try some makeup forever, I highly recommend it. It's great. I mean, and the size of these products make them fantastic for travel. I am very fond of the Makeup Forever either deluxe samples or 100-point perks. Now, out of their nice packaging, this is what they look like. So we've got a couple of the blushes here and one of those HD finishing powders, and you can see that I have used the heck out of it. Now, this blush here is the S214, and it is a satin blush, and down here you have the M302, which is a matte blush. So one of them is more kind of like sparkly peach, and the other one is more of a matte plum. So let's talk about how often I used those. I used the S214 blush, the peachy one, peachy sparkly one, 8 times. And then I used the M302, which is the matte plum, 3 times. So the blushes I used quite a bit and definitely enjoyed them. And those are the blushes that I, by default, put in a magnetic palette and take with me traveling because they take virtually no room. I also used, by the way, the satin peachy blush. I also used that blush as an eyeshadow on one day when I wanted a really natural look. I used that, and I also used the Becca Opal and the Butter Bronzer. It just kind of made an eye look with those 3, and it looked great. I mean, sometimes we have our neutral palettes without even pulling out a palette. Speaking of palettes, I think that's where we are at. Yep, I'm going to go right into it. I have 3 Makeup Forever Artist palettes, and I'm going to go in the order of the palette releases. So we're going to talk about palette number 1 first. So this is palette number 1, and this is what it looks like. Now this was, I don't know if you can see the colors all that well. Maybe this is better. Okay. So this palette number 1 is a very, very good palette and very easy to use. I think the only objection some people might have is that there are no mattes, but I really enjoyed using it, and it is one that I can go in and not feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And so this Artist number 1 I used 5 times. And I used it by doing the suggested 3 eye looks that came with this palette. Each palette comes with a little booklet. I just went back and reached for the booklets, so you'll see that they come with these booklets. I won't open each one, but I will show you just a little bit what this one looks like. So here you go. Here, for example, would be one eye look that you could do, and then on the other side it shows you step by step how to build the look, and also what makeup brushes they suggest you use. Of course, Makeup Forever brushes, but I think that these eye books are great as just a place to start. But unfortunately, as I found out in a Get Ready With Me you know, not all of the looks that they are suggesting will suit someone. And so I think that it's good as a starting point, but definitely I don't think that the trio of colors that they show you need to be used absolutely in the way that they're suggesting. Use the palettes whichever way you feel comfortable. Now, I did tend to use the palettes in the trios, in the vertical lines, because they do tend to go really well together, and to find out that that's sort of an idea of what color pairings to do is very useful. And like I said, so this one I used 5 times, very easy. And let's go into the number 3. Okay, so the number 3 was definitely outside my comfort zone. And I used each one of these rows for one look. My favorite, surprisingly for me, was the one on your right, because this one, it has a very funky lilac color, which doesn't tend to be my strong suit. I thought maybe this one would be the one I like better, but I ended up really liking it, particularly for this color. But I used this color just as the color look suggested, and it turned out beautifully. I can maybe insert a picture. I did a video with that look, and it looked great. Now, I also did a video with this one, and surprisingly, these colors are quite nice, but I was really disappointed with this color. It just didn't have the look I was hoping for. Now let's see what it just kind of fell flat. It just didn't have the punch I was hoping for. It's just kind of meh. And it was a color that I found very intimidating, and when I put it on the eye, I thought, that's it? That's all there is to it? And when you compare it to the other color next to it, the other color shows up a whole lot more. This is the last of the 3 palettes that I purchased, and frankly, I'm really happy with the other 2 trios, but I think that this trio I'm going to end up kind of pulling apart and maybe going in for one color as opposed to going for the trio. And frankly, those colors I might just use for a wash of color across the whole lid, like the whole eyelid, and then build up colors that have punch over them. They're definitely not the colors in the whole Makeup Forever line that I've tried so far that I would actually say show up all that much. Now, for most of these, they are quite buildable. It's just those 3 colors, for some reason, they just, but the rest of them buildable, they look good. And when you see a reddish color in the middle of a palette like this one, they look really nice as a blush. So it's almost like it's an eye palette, and then you have a nice, in this case, kind of a satiny peach blush, which we already know I like. I'm going to wipe my fingers and we will keep going. Eyeshadow can get the fingers messy pretty quick. So like I said, I did the 3 looks with that artist number 3, and I was done with it, although the plum look and definitely the middle one with the beige and the pink I will use again. And like I said, the third, I'll use the individual colors sporadically, but probably won't make the same look. Although, ironically, do I not look like I have those colors on my eye today? I might actually try recreating this look. This look was made with the Basquiat palettes from Urban Decay. I really like the color payoff, and maybe I'll just try. That's a great idea, haha! I love it when I come up with these. I will try this same look, virtually the same look, with those 3 colors because they're pretty close, don't you think? And see if the colors are as vibrant and that the look looks similar to what I have today. I think that would be a really good experiment. The last one of the artist palettes I have, so the only one I don't have is number 2. This one is number 4, and I managed to gouge one of the colors right up here. I did a get ready with me with these colors, by the way, which is probably why I messed up that shade. But I used this palette twice, I think. Yeah, I did a look with this one, a look with this one, and I did not use these colors yet. I didn't really have a need for a smoky eye, which this one would definitely be, and I'm very comfortable with smoky eye looks, so I just decided that was not a necessary thing to do in order to get a real good feel for the palette, but I will swatch these colors that are in this smoky lineup here just so that you can see what they look like. Now, of course, the white will be hard to see, but I think it's only fair to at least give you a swatch of these. So these are the three from the smoky. So this is the darkest color, the middle color, and the white. So these are it. Anybody else have this thing about not having eyeshadow go all over the place? I had to clean up the pan and clean up my swatching hand. But anyway, once again, just one last look at this this palette. And I think you saw in the swatches that these colors don't swatch all that well, but it's just not, to me, indicative of how they apply on the eye. They apply, it takes quite a few dips in the pan to build to what you want, but you have a lot of control. And the control is something that I appreciate. These palettes did not wow me compared to other brands that I've used. Tarte and Urban Decay definitely come to mind, but I still think that they're solid palettes, and I am curious to know what the formula is for Makeup Forever in these three palettes compared to what the new formulation is. I definitely will continue using them. I don't have a problem with them. I'm happy with quite a number of looks that I came up with, despite not finding that the looks in the books they provide really work for me. The colors are neat. They're diverse enough for me not to get super bored. But now that I have used all three palettes kind of as intended, I think I'm ready. I'm going to dip and go across the three and see what I can come up with on my own as well. I think there's enough of a variety that I can come up with quite a few looks. I think it is time now to go to pencils. And these pencils I introduced in a mini haul. It was a mini samples haul, and I held these three pencils up, and they are, what do they call them? Artist color pencils. And the claim to fame for these pencils is that you can use them on the eye, on the cheek, on the lips, anywhere on the face that you would like. And indeed, I did that with this one on one given day. I wore it on the eye, I wore it on the lip, I wore it as blush, and I even asked my husband, hey, you know, what do you think? He goes, you look fine. And it was so neat to just be wearing one pencil. And then I had this one in the waterline, upper and lower, and a little bit of a tight lining as well, just along the lash line. Now, I have to say that this one is messy when you use it as eyeliner that gets in touch with the watery portion of the eye. So it will go into the inner corner, and it's not super great. So that's what I found out that day. But definitely going like within the lashes or above or below is fine. All three of them work fine that way. And I did use the red as an all-over lip liner and lip fill-in. They are very, very creamy though. And if you do have a tendency to have feathering, I would suggest a clear lip liner with these. But I will definitely continue to use these pencils. I like them, and they're fantastic as a sample, as a kind of a perk with purchase. What a great way to try these. And they come in quite a variety of colors. So I also think that they will be good as a base for eyeshadow. So for example, for smoky eye, I might use this one, and then for a natural look, I might use this one, almost like an eye primer if I'm going to use deep natural colors. So I have to say this product is definitely a highlight of the whole line. Another one that I have really liked is the AQUA XL, despite only having used it a total of 2 times since I've received this little guy. I'm going to say that that I like the AQUA XL. It definitely, once it dries, it stays put. I want to use it as an overall eyeshadow. I just didn't get to it, and I have decided to put it into my Project Pan products because I really want to use it, and this is going to get me to do it. And I think that it may actually be just the color that I had. I had so many other eyeshadows from Makeup Forever at the same time that were so similar to this that it just, I went with the pencil for the all over look that one day, and it was just too much more beigey brown compared to everything else I had. So it just didn't get the attention that it frankly deserves. And so I will definitely be using it again. A few more lip products, or I mean, some of the pencils were lip products, but now let's get into more lip products. I had 2 of these small Makeup Forever lipsticks. I had a nice bright red one. I think it's the Matte 401. And then I also had the C211, which was a more kind of rosy color. And I ended up using the C211 3 times, and then the 401 only once, and probably because I had that other 714 red pencil. Oh, and I didn't tell you, I don't think I told you what the numbers were for these pencils. This one is called Full Red 714. This one is called Wherever Walnut 606. And finally, the black one is called Whatever Black in 100. Here we go. All right. And the lipsticks, I will just give you a quick swatch of them. The red is red. And then the pink is more of a plummy pink. So since I'm swatching the lipsticks, I just decided to swatch the other products as well. So this one is the matte red lipstick 401. This is the cream lipstick in 211, kind of a nice, almost fuchsia plum pink. It's just all sorts of things. This is the AQUA XL, just so that you can see the color. I did quite a thick coat there, but you can shear it out. It's quite workable. And then I've got the 3 pencils, the 100, the 714, and then the 606. The final product, which I don't know if it's a dud, I'm just not huge on it, is the Acrylip. That's what the sample looks like. And I did use it in a Get Ready With Me. And you can see very quickly which one I used during the Get Ready With Me because it's all messed up. It is very liquidy, very shiny, but it will be very messy and runny. If you have perfect lips that don't tend to have product go all over the place, that is not the case with mine, then you may very well like the Acrylip. It's definitely comfortable, but the colors that are provided in this sample are very bold, and the moment they go out of the lip, I mean, you're going to look kind of goofy. What I did find, though, in using this 501, and the 3 colors I have are the 501, 401, and 202, what you'll find with the 501 is that, well, at least because I tried the 501, but what it did was I put it on and I kind of went, whoa, yeah, this is messy. And it took a while to, get the lips perfect. And I did not use an invisible liner, which I said in the Get Ready With Me that I wish I had done. But it was on my lips for a little while, and then I blotted it, getting a lot of the shiny, goopy stuff off, and it did leave a nice stain on the lips. So that's what I'll say for now. I still have a couple to try. I will continue working through these samples to get a good feel for it, but I don't know right now that this would be a product that I would want to use. So I only used this product once. So that's it for my overview of the 13 days of Makeup Forever products. I love the primers, the foundations, I love the pencils. I'm okay with the eyeshadow palettes. They did not wow me, but it's not something that I regret purchasing. And the powder products from Makeup Forever are fantastic. The AQUA XL, I have to say that I'm so impressed with this product, and it dries down very solid. Like I'm rubbing it right now and it's not coming off on my finger. Really impressed with them. The HD powder I like. I'm going to finish the deluxe sample I have, and I'm definitely going to start right away on the other one. And I think that's pretty much everything I have to say. Have I tried the whole line of Makeup Forever products? Absolutely not. This is everything I have. But for now, what I have, I'm pretty satisfied with. The only thing I really didn't like was a sample I received. So I'm quite fine with the line, and I will continue using all the primers, the foundation, everything, except maybe, jury's still out, but I may pass on continuing to use the AQUA lip. I hope you found some of what I had to say about these products informative. And if you have comments, please leave them down below. If you liked the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you like the content on this channel in general, I'd love it if you would subscribe. So please consider it. I appreciate your time. See you in the next video. But for now, take care.